Hi there, fight fans. My name is Kian Lang, and I'm honoured to say that I'm today joined with the voice of Oktagon, Bryan Lacey. Bryan, how are we doing today?
I was doing all right till that intro music kicked in. That's
I
that's
know,
very heavy for 10 past 10 in the
I know.
morning, mate. Listen, Jesus
Headphones
Christ, but
on.
let's go. Let's go.
Headphones on. That gave me the shock of my life then.
Oh my gosh, that was Can we? Well, I think they should grade it in different times of the day. Maybe just a bit of Simon and Garfunkel, just for
Oh, that would be
anything,
perfect.
anything before 12 o'clock. Once we kick into that, maybe boost it up a little bit. I
Smooth
don't know.
FM.
Yeah,
Some
kick
nice
into
jazz
Oasis
music.
and then go midnight. Midnight should be the
Yeah.
rock thing, but I'm fine. I'll recover from that, no problem.
Obviously, we got a massive card this weekend in Munich, Germany, at the BMW Park. Oktagon 71. 3 huge UK fighters on it. From top to bottom, this card is just stacked. How excited are you for it?
Well, you best be careful saying UK because
I know.
Shem Rock would be upset with that, as with Denis Frimpong. But St. George Staines would be very happy, I'm sure. I mean, I'm very excited. This year has been, I think, every year's been landmark as far as the tournaments. Last year we did 2 stadiums, including that 60,000 seat stadium in Frankfurt, which is ridiculous. When we were nervous about the Eden Stadium, which was 28,000. That was half of what we did in Frankfurt. But this year, new cities, new fighters are emerging, crazy new stars breaking out, from Frederick Vosgrone to Elisa Daslana. And then for me, what's nice about this is the cards are getting bigger, and the fighters coming from the UK, coming from Ireland, are getting more exposure, but also opportunities on these big cards. And this for me is very big as far as Shem's career. Denis Frimpong off the back of his last fight, which was his most impressive performance.
Definitely.
And then George Staines, who we just can't match. No one wants to fight George Staines, and I know why, but I'm glad to see they're all on the same card this weekend.
And on George Staines, I know he's a fighter that you're a big fan of. I am myself as well. It's a big test for him this weekend. Obviously, Hafeni Nafuka, 10-2 as a professional. He's got 6 submissions. He's a great grappler. Obviously, a home fight for him as well. How big of a test is this for Staines this weekend?
Oh, this could steal fight of the night for me. This one, I mean, there's going to be lots of people looking at the heavyweights. There's Vespasiani on there, who had a great debut, and obviously when you watch heavyweights, it's always exciting. You've got Popek and Langer at the top of the card with that rematch, but this is 2 of the most talented fighters coming out of England, coming out of Germany, coming out of Europe. Let's be honest, coming together at a pivotal moment in their career. George Staines, undefeated as a professional, won the England versus Ireland Oktagon Challenge Series. Just so unique as a person. Like, you couldn't, when you meet him, he's the person. There's fighters like him, Aaron AB, a few others, where when people talk to me, like they find out what my job is, they talk about, oh, well, what are the fighters like? They assume they're going to be these, just violent mugheads, and and I just want to introduce him to George Staines. Watch this guy. Watch how excited he gets with Lego. Just watch his eyes light up when you put a Star Wars figure in front of him, and then just talk to him. He shouldn't be a fighter, but he's so good at it. He is.
He really is.
I don't know what he should be doing. Maybe working for the council or something, or on like a help. Like, he's just so nice. He's the nicest. He might be the nicest fighter on the planet. And then when he gets inside the cage, he is a monster, an absolute monster.
Incredible.
And then Hafeni Nafuka is another, one of these stories where you see how martial arts can change people's lives. Comes from Namibia. His mum and dad came over as refugees, had nothing, literally was in a refugee camp in Germany. All the stuff that comes with it, being, ostracized, bullied, no opportunities, his mum and dad having to work their way to where they are now, and him witnessing that. And he said this beautiful thing when I first met him. He was 6-0 when he came to Oktagon. Lots of hype around him, just training out of a jiu-jitsu gym, just found jiu-jitsu, and no real MMA sparring partners, no real coaching, to be honest, just pure talent and pure heart. But he said, every fight I have is now to give back to my mum and dad for what they've done for me. And he's just, they're both great humans, but 2 immense skill sets will meet in the cage in Munich, and I can't pick it. I think George has got he'll have the size. He's put a lot of size on since going to next gen and adding a real strength and conditioning program to his routine. But Nafuka is, he's tricky. He's on the ground is where George will want it, and on the ground is where Nafuka is most dangerous as well. So beautiful fight, mate.
It really is, and it's amazing the age of both of them. I mean, for how good they are inside the cage. Staines is 24, Nafuka's 22. I mean,
do you want to know what,
amazing.
mate? That if you combine their ages, that's me. That's and that makes me, because like I remember being 24, I think. And I say I think because I definitely wasn't dedicating my life to anything like this. I definitely wasn't. I definitely hadn't found my purpose. But for these two to be as good as they are, to be as dedicated as they are, to sacrifice as much as they do, and again, this is why I love Oktagon as well, because no one else in Europe is putting on consistent shows like this. No one else is giving fighters the platform, the stage, the walkouts, the crowds, like Oktagon. And for these two guys to be on this card, I think they're the feature about the prelims, which again speaks to the rest of the card going on. But for that as an opportunity, there's not many, and there's some very talented fighters coming out of Ireland, as we saw with the PFL last weekend, and you see with Cage Warriors as well. But no one is getting these walkouts. No one is filling these arenas, and no one is and it is experience. This will count as they move onwards and upwards in their career, which they will. This is guaranteed with these two guys. Having done that, having felt those crowds, having, like George Staines walking into enemy territory this week, to be able to cope with that type of pressure is something that is untangible, but it will definitely help them with their careers.
And you mentioned there walking into enemy territory. Obviously, how helpful can his last fight against Jakob Takota be for that? Because he got to experience it then, and he obviously came out on top and had, in my opinion, the best performance of his career. How much good can that do him going into this one?
Yeah, everything with George as well. And this is what's unique about him. He has, and it sounds silly to say because every fighter, when they step in a cage, believes in themselves. But he has so much belief that he is going to be the best in the world. And it sounds silly when he's this age for him to be saying stuff like that. But when you meet him and you see him, and it's like that Rose Namajunas thing. When he walks in, he's talking to himself, and he is literally telling himself he's the best. And you look at performances against Takota, and Takota's record is deceiving because I think he might be 4-4 or I don't know. He basically, his record is pretty even now, but he's had 2 title fights within that, and he's fought George Staines. And one of those title fights was Lausanne Keita, which he fought, and he broke his collarbone in the first round, and he still went 5 rounds or 4.5 rounds with Keita. It's for George to have dominated him the way he did speaks a lot to where his level is. But that experience of being the underdog, because he was when he came into that, everybody thought Takota would take it, and then coming into, like you said, enemy territory, he just soaks it up. He just soaks it up, and every fight, every performance gives him another layer of armor on his skin, where he just solidifies what he has in his mind. I am the best. So I don't think he would ever be phased. I think you could chuck him on his first pro fight into, I don't know where, the deepest, darkest back city of somewhere, of someone hometown fighter with all the crowd behind him, and I think he would still just zone in on this. But it's definitely going to help him for sure.
Definitely. I think the thing that amazes me the most about Staines is we saw him in the Thomas Siganik fight. Obviously, he won that fight, but there was a lot of criticism afterwards and a lot of questions over his cardio and his gas tank. Obviously, he seemed to slow down in round number 3. And then going into the Takota fight, again, he came out in round number 3, and that seeming weakness had turned into a strength, in my opinion. And he dropped Takota, he dominated the round. Does that really speak to the dedication and the work ethic of him, even for such a young man, like we've said?
Yeah, totally. And I think also his willingness to change, move out of his comfort zone. He is Hull through and through. When you hear him talk about Hull, which you don't often hear people talk about Hull with, And all respect to Hull, don't come at me. But you don't often see people flying the flag for Hull, but he's so proud of the city he comes from. He is such a home guy as well. You listen to the relationship that we learned about through Oktagon Challenge with his dad. His girlfriend is based over there, Martha, as well. So everything that keeps him comfortable and happy, and is the softness around fighting is now miles away from him. He's moved to Liverpool. He's changed camps. He's now at Next Gen full time. His first full camp was the Dakota camp, and you saw the benefits of that with that third round on its own. And they said to me, we've had one fight camp with him. That's what we've done. Give us 2, give us 3, and show us what we can do. Let us show you what we can do. And then you listen to people like Paddy Pimlet when they're talking about Next Gen, and everybody's saying it's one of the best gyms in Europe, if not the best gym in Europe. And he picks out a couple of people to mention, and George Staines is one of those people that has come in and is now one of his main sparring partners. And we know the talent of Paddy, but if you know the talent on those mats alone, like when you go to Next Gen and you go underneath and you suddenly look around and you see everybody from, Nathan Fletcher to Molly to Leah to Paddy to Shem, and you just look and you're like some row of killers. And for him to make that move, and he still goes back every weekend, I believe, to Hull to be at home, but to put himself outside that comfort zone and to put himself as, not the top dog in the gym, but to go right to the bottom and work his way through hard work to where he is now, that says everything you need to know about, how much he is committed to this journey.
Yeah, and I completely agree that I think this is the potential fight of the night on Saturday. I mean, it's just an incredible matchup.
You have to lick your lips, right? It's just, and the fact they make, because you don't get this as well. It's very rare you get 2 talents at this stage of their career that will go, okay, well, because this will be a corner for both of them. One will go right and take the victory and move right into those top rankings, and the other will go left and have to work their way back up and through, which is a hard spot to do. And that's the other thing. When you're a young fighter, dealing with the losses is kind of different from when you're older. And it's, again, I say it with respect, but life teaches you so many lessons, and the stuff that happens outside the cage can shape what you are in the cage. And these two have still got so much to learn in life, and it will happen to them. That's the crazy thing. We all have these bumps, these things, but the fact that they're meeting now, and whichever one wins will go one way and the other one, it's going to be interesting to see how the one who loses deals with that and rebuilds, reclimbs. And again, when you talk about people around them, that's what's important. Who's going to be there when you've lost? Who's going to help you rise again? Because undoubtedly these two deserve to be on promotions like Oktagon, in the top 10, in the top 5, fighting for belts, fighting for titles, having these marquee events. So we'll see.
It feels like one of them where down the line in the future we might see them fighting for a belt against each other. It has that sort of feel to it. Another fight with a potential title challenger, Shamrock. Obviously, thankfully, we can say that Shamrock is on this card. We didn't even know until yesterday whether he'd be on the card. His third opponent, Attila Korkmaz, it might even be his toughest opponent that he's been matched up with yet. It's incredible that you get an opponent like Korkmaz on such short notice. How do you think he deals with this challenge?
I think I love this fight. I love it. I wish this had been the fight from the start, because then we would have Attila with a full camp. But for me, it's the most complete fighter Shem has ever faced, ever.
Definitely.
And not just in Oktagon, because in Oktagon he's had some tough tests, but not, I wouldn't say totally complete fighters. And I mean this with total respect. Jan Malak is a very good striker, but his ground game has always been the issue. And we saw what Shem was able to expose there. Yaroslav Pokorny, the heats that came into that fight in the stadium. But I think it was always written how that fight would go. And as soon as Shem took the back, and what a back take it was as well, dipping under the arm and straight to the back. And that was in the first exchange.
Amazing.
And for me, Korkmaz is he's so complete. A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's already fought the previous champion, Ronnie Paradisa and took him to a split decision in the Tip Sport Game Changer, which no one was expecting.
No.
He then beat Amir Khani with a power bomb into a one-armed rear naked choke. So if Shem wants anything, the fact that Korkmaz might have a better rear naked choke finish than him in the Oktagon cage might be one little trophy he's looking for. And then his last fight against Agi Sadari was so close again. And Sadari, I think he is one of the most underrated fighters in Europe, if not the world, just because of his skill set and what he's already achieved. But Korkmaz, for me, so many threats. His striking is unorthodox. He's got the Taekwondo background. He throws cartwheel kicks, spinning attacks. He's got excellent boxing. He's got a chin on him as well. He has got one hell of a chin. He has not been finished since 2012. This is going through promotions like Bama, ACB. I've seen him fight some monsters in the Chechnya, in Russia, in places like that. And the fact he's so hard to finish is going to be something that's interesting for me, because Shem's finished his last fights, all of his last fights, first round rear naked chokes. What does that cardio look like? What does it look like when somebody can avoid the takedowns, avoid the back takes? And he's up against another Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert as well. So I love it. It's a great fight. And the Shem show continues. I'm a little bit sad he shaved his afro for this one, because I was enjoying that in the videos. I thought we were going to get the full afro for this, but it's a big fight. It's a big moment, I think, for both fighters. The fact Korkmaz stepped up, but Shem is unique. Like, you're not just fighting him in the cage. There's an aura about him. There's a reason that people tune in to watch him, and he's got this thing. You love him, you hate him, and he's such a nice guy. All this stuff that happens in and around the cage and things, and you meet him, he's humble. He does every bit of media you ask for him, and then you go and watch him. You watch him train, and he doesn't cut corners. Everything from his diet to the prep to the sparring. He wants the hard rounds. He's not just there. He's got the profile and the following, but he's not just there to look good. He knows he's very good. And I think, this will be a tough test for him. A tough test. So a lot of questions to be asked, and we find out the answers on Saturday.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to the mental fortitude of him almost, that he can go through 3 different opponents, and then an opponent, like we said, like Korkmaz, the toughest test of his career, just 5-6 days before the fight, and he's still willing to take it on. And he seems almost more excited that it's changed again. It's amazing.
It's this thing. It's the cliche, like the opponent doesn't matter to Shem. He just wants to get better every fight. And again, I talked about the belief that George Staines has. Shem's journey into martial arts, which is well documented, from being on the run to being in Malaysia, going into a jiu-jitsu gym, getting manhandled by a guy, almost half his size, and then falling in love with this sport. Everything that's led up to this, it's this thing. It's the strangest sport in the world, because everybody finds their way in a different way. And Shem's is definitely one of the most unique, but you look at his life before and what he was doing and that type of stuff. It's a very easy left or right turn again. If he had continued on that, we know what would be going on. And he does too. But he has, taken this sport by both hands, found his passion, found his love, dedicated himself to it as well. And we're blessed. We are blessed in the UK to have fighters like this. Liverpool is a hotbed. The Northwest is an absolute, melting pot of some of the most talented fighters and gyms. And the fact we've got personalities on top of it, like Shamrock, is we need to be more grateful than we are for that, because he's a blessing in every single way. He is a blessing. And you can tell I'm a big fan, but I wish people got a little taste of what he's like out of the cage, and what his values, what his character is, because it would surprise a lot of people. People have a perception of who he is, but when you meet him and he's just him, it's glorious, mate. It's glorious.
Yeah. And you mentioned big personalities and top Northwest gyms. I think that's kind of the perfect segue to the
Thank you.
next
Thank you.
Irish fight. I know you
Did
set
your
me up
favour.
beautifully there. You set me up beautifully. Denis Frimpong taking on Ariane Topolaya. This is just, I mean, this is one of them that fans will be excited about from minute one.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen a lot of build up for it. The face off they did. Typically with Frimpong, there's a little bit of bad blood there, it seems. How excited are you for this one? This is
This Frimpong is again. I talked about it, and maybe it's me saying it too much, but these are one of these fighters that you have a perception of, and you call it bad blood, but it's not. It's not for him. It's not. There's no bad blood. It's competition, and the competition starts as soon as his sights are set on you, and it's relentless. It's relentless. He's far cleverer than people think as well. He is an academic. Like, he went to university. He's well read. He's well studied. He's dedicated to this, and it's part of the game for him. And some people can't cope with it. Everything from, the face-offs, even Robin Frank in the last fight, who is undoubtedly, and again, Frimpong made him look ordinary. In fact, maybe less than ordinary. He dominated that fight. Robin Frank was touted as one of the best talents to come out, and should still be touted as that, because he's only 5-1 now. But you listen to fighters like Yesina Ayari, who's been all the way to the UFC, who's watched the German MMA scene grow, who's sparred with him, who's trained with him, and look at the way he talks about Robin Frank. With absolute, genuine credit as well, because of the way he trains, the performances he's done so far. But Frimpong, just the mind game started from the weigh-ins, just twisted the knife a little there. Then at the ceremonial ones yet again. Then at the press conference. And then on the night, he just dominated. And I was so impressed with the performance on every angle, every single angle, coping with the stage, the Stuttgart, the hometown of Robin Frank, stepping in there, staying disciplined, staying true to himself as the fighter. And then the cardio. Frimpong is massive for lightweight. And you think about what that takes to get to that 70.8 limit. And the fact that he could have done another 3 rounds easily on that. I'm excited. And his opponent, Ariane Topolaya, is so dangerous. 7 wins, 7 finishes, all in the first round. First guy to finish Roman Paulus, who is well known in Oktagon. He was the winner of season 5 of Oktagon Challenge. And Topolaya's only loss is to Hefeni Nafuka. So for me, you could look at that last loss and go, oh, this if Frimpong can get past that first round, it's all him. But these guys don't like each other. They're both, there's more than just the win at stake. There's those bragging rights, and it's great. It's a beautiful fight.
It really is. And you mentioned Frimpong. It carries on into the fight. That Robin Frank fight, he sat there saying, I'm just a kickboxer, the whole time. I mean, it's incredible that he's so calm and so confident and just so relaxed in the moment. No moment's too big for him.
Yeah, and again, but he's and I'll say this with respect as well, he's older than some of the other guys. So he's had some of that life experience. He also realizes there's a limited time. He's a clever fighter. There's a limited time for him to make his mark. He's had big changes in his life outside the cage as well. Since Oktagon Challenge, he's become a Muslim. He's got married. He's got a kid on the way. That changes your world. I am telling you now, when you realize that, and especially when you do something so selfish as being a fighter, because it is selfish. It's like this pursuit, nothing is guaranteed. It's not great pay to start with when you're working your way through the regional scene. The opportunities are limited. The fact the variables of fighting are vicious, because you can get injured at any moment. You're training fighting. You're going to, and that you can lose that fight or that opportunity, or you step into a fight injured that you shouldn't have and you lose, and then you've got to rebuild yourself. So when you suddenly have this thing where the clock's against you, Father Time's against you, and then also you've got the pressure of a kid coming and a wife that's, you're now in this relationship. This is not just you. You can't be selfish outside the cage. It changes things. And I think we saw with the performance, and I think we can see it just in his demeanor that he absolutely means business. The trash talk gets people watching, but in the cage, he is such a tough puzzle to solve, because he's big, he's unorthodox, He's intimidating. He's got an aura about him, and his skill set is great. It is great.
Yeah.
You look from the George Staines fight to the Robin Frank fight, and there's improvements. And again, you got to give credit to people like Carl Prince, Manchester top team, to be on those mats. And I've said it before, to go in there day in, day out, and to be one of the pros on those mats. You can't help but get better by getting your ass kicked every day, every week. You become a better fighter in those environments. And Frimpong, I'm excited for him. I think he'll be the co-main. I think they're going. That's what this means, and that's where Oktagon see him and Orion Topalaya. So that says everything. He's above Shem. He's jumped Shem. That's nuts, right?
It's amazing. And obviously, no card is complete without that main event. And this is an absolute banger, in my opinion. Number 2 ranked Alexander Popek against the 3 ranked Pavel Langa. Obviously, a rematch, like you say. First fight was in Oberhausen, a split decision win for Langa. I mean, that was a war. We saw Popek. Somehow, Langa survived the second round in that fight. Popek had him so badly hurt. And then later in the fight, we saw Langa come on strong with his wrestling and some of the most vicious body shots I think I've ever seen in a fight. How excited are you for this rematch, and how do you think this one goes again?
Yeah, I'm very excited, and it's definitely got title ramifications. You think about Will Fleury running the heavyweight and light heavyweight division now, and you look at these two, and for me, it's a big moment for Popek, and I mean that with respect to Langa, because I felt Popek kind of crumbled under that pressure of the last fight. It was all the odds, all the storyline. He was fairly fresh and new in Oktagon at that point, and he was the Viking coming through, and everybody thought this is the guy. This will be the guy to be Germany's first champion. And I felt like he didn't respect the durability, the experience, the size, the power, the skill set of Pavel Langa, and he thought he'd finish him. And I think that showed, he looks the part. He's very strong, but I think it showed a weakness in the mind when he couldn't finish him in round 2, and then he kind of lost faith in himself from rounds 3, 4, 5, and you could see it kind of ebb away, and you could see in the opposite side Langa grow in confidence and eventually win that split decision. But it's one of these fights where it's been a long time coming. Langa's won the interim title off that fight. No one expected it. He's become so beloved in the Czech Republic and Slovakia just through his uniqueness, his personality, his post-fight interviews, which are like 7 minutes long. But I think that all the pressure is going to be on Popek. This fight is now in his home city. He's the top of the card. And if Langa beats him again, that could be his title, chances done for the foreseeable, because this is it's a division where 1 or 2 performances or even a big finish like Didi Squall got against Mark Ducis in the last event can put you in that conversation of title challenger. And if Langa wins and Popek loses, Langa's straight back up there, but I don't know how Popek comes back. Whereas if Langa loses and Popek wins, Langa is one of these guys that always finds a way back. He's always a difficult puzzle. So the pressure for me in this one is going to be the most interesting. How does Popek handle it? And will he respect Langa a bit more this time? Because if he doesn't, if he thinks he can blitz him, then it's going to be a long night again.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, the durability of Langa is just incredible. That second round in that first fight was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. The fact he was able to survive. So very interesting to see. And I can't thank you enough for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. And I can't wait to see you out in Munich and watch these incredible fights.
You're going to be there?
I'm not. I wish.
You got me all excited then. I know. Thought you said it as if, hey, I'll see you in Munich. I was like, get the schnitzel ready. Let's go. No?
I wish. I can't. I wish I was able to. What are those crowds like? I mean, crowds like Munich. You mentioned the home fighter Popek. It's got to just be a surreal experience hearing those crowds, right?
It's one of those, again, every event with Oktagon, you look at this year alone, going to Dusseldorf, where we had Engazek at the top of the card, and Dulatov fighting in that arena as well. I remember taking my headset off and just listening to the noise. Then you go to places like Dortmund, and you got Max Holzer and Khalid Taha coming out, and just the noise is different. But for me, the atmosphere, and it's always the thing I say with Oktagon, and it's kind of one of the things when hopefully when you get to come one day, you'll see and feel. It's one of my favorite conversations post event with journalists that have never been before. They just say it feels different. Like the atmosphere is, it's not hostile, it's fun. It's like it is like a party. There's something that Oktagon do with the crowds, with the engagement, with all the stuff that goes on in the show, in and around it. Even the way we sell the fights, it's not it's kind of different. And that atmosphere is for me, is I'll never take it for granted, especially when we've got cards like this. Then we go to the stadium again. We're going Czech Republic with the Fortuna Arena, Eden, 28,000 people again, and it's pinch me moments, mate. I sit there and I put a post up yesterday just with one of the finishes from the last event, and I say it's the best seat in the house, and it is for multiple reasons. First of all, the view, but when you get hit with you get hit with the noise behind you, it kind of hits you as you watch the announcements or the big moments happen. It's something special, and you got to come. You have to come and check one out, mate. Let's make it part of the bucket list, 12-month bucket list. Get to an Oktagon, and you can tell me what you think. Then that would be nice.
100%. This summer, I'll make a promise. I'll get out to 100%.
I hold you to this, mate. I hold you. You've promised me now. Promises mean a lot. All right.
I know. Please do. Thank you so much for speaking to me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right. Take care, brother. Cheers.
Thank you. And you.